Football.
My name's Jarul, I'm a real bad dude, making sounds and noises that are certainly rude. But when we're on the field, my noises aren't art, or a plain old bar.
Welcome to the Married with Picks podcast. Season 6, episode 17, week 17. Technically, it's episode 16, week 17, but I'm just going to stay consistent. So last week, Steve, was the first week that we didn't do a podcast when we went to Disney World. But last week, we did not do a podcast. And then earlier this season, there was one week where we technically did the podcast, but we didn't post the podcast.
I forgot about that.
Someday I will post
Somebody
it.
messed that one up, huh?
I didn't mess it up.
Somebody messed the recording up.
No, it wasn't. I messed up the recording. It was the drunken episode that I never posted.
That was after the baseball.
Yeah.
The kids' baseball parents get together.
But last week, Steve, we didn't do the podcast because you had a poker game to go to. So, anyway, week 17 already. This season really did fly by. They always do.
I prefer Christmas neighborhood party.
Well, that is incorrect.
Christmas party.
Definitely incorrect.
It was a Christmas party that happened to be a poker game too. Beer exchange, very festive, very neighborly, very, very good time.
All right. So anyway,
sorry you couldn't attend.
Week 7. I don't think I was invited.
It's all guys.
Yeah, someday I'm going to show up. I'm going to play poker.
You're more than welcome to. You're pretty good. You're actually better than me.
I could slow play the hell out of the nuts. That's about it.
You're too tight for me. I got to play some cards.
All right. So anyway, week 17, we have 3 games already played. Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, Chiefs, Broncos. We have 2 games on Saturday, the first of which is the Texans at the Chargers. And there are some teams that aren't really playing for much, so I'll try to hit those things as we go through. This game, first game up, Texans at Chargers. Chargers are 1.5 point favorites. This is a win and in situation for the Texans. And the Chargers, if they win, and this week and week 17, they would be playing the Broncos for the division. So the Chargers have been tough for me. I have not gotten them right for the last several weeks. But I do think the Texans defense will be the best that they've faced maybe since the Eagles. And I don't know if the Chargers won that game or the Eagles lost that game. And I when I looked this up earlier, so this is a rematch of the wild card game from last year. And if I told you that, who won that game?
The Texans won, didn't they?
Yes, the Texans won 32-12. When I looked it up, I was expecting the opposite. So it was going to be a spot play for me here anyway on the Texans. Just situationally, the Chargers have won the last, 3 in a row.
Has Herbert won a playoff game yet?
I guess not. He also has a bad record against teams that are above 500, but I didn't write down the specific stat, but it was like 8-15 or something like that. So I'm going to take the Texans here. I think their defense against a shaky offensive line for the Chargers can get it done.
No, I'm with you. I'm on the same point. This is a Saturday game, the first one at 4:30. Chargers are favored by 1.5, and they are at home. But I think this is probably the Texans game. The Texans are playing really strong. They're 7-0 straight up in their last 7. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, which doesn't really mean much when you surmount the fact that the Chargers are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. So I got to give you both sides of the story here. They're both doing pretty good against the spread. But what I don't like about the Chargers, to keep it short, is that the quarterback is still hobbling, still has a broken hand, right? And he struggled mightily against the Eagles other than the fact that he ran the ball, and nobody was ready for him to run the ball. Houston will be ready for that countermeasure, and I think that their defense is one of the toughest in the league. So I think the Chargers are going to struggle to score points here. The Texans should win on the road.
All right. Next game is the Ravens at the Packers. Packers are 4.5-point favorites, and I did not look it up to see if this changed at all. It doesn't sound like Lamar Jackson will be starting for the Ravens. It will be Tyler Huntley. And then both Jordan Love and Malik Willis suffered injuries last week. It sounds like Love will not play, and it will be Malik Willis. Now, Malik Willis came from Tennessee, and I'm sure I picked against him last year a couple times. But it did seem like he's improved since he got to Green Bay, and Matt LaFleur will game plan for Malik Willis, whereas I don't think Harbaugh is doing much down there in Baltimore these days. Now, the Ravens do desperately need a win here, and I believe some help along the way if they have any shot of getting into the playoffs. But with a loss here, they will be eliminated. Now, the Packers have clinched a playoff spot. The Bears are 2 games up on them at this point and have a better division record. So the Packers' chances of getting the division are slim to none. So just based on coaching and backup quarterback situations, I would have to take the Packers here.
Well, if you look at the standings, right, everybody's sitting at 11-4. The division with Chicago is at 11-4. The people, if you're looking at it, is Green Bay playing for anything, right? Because they're in the playoffs. They've already locked that in. Yes. The NFC teams or the roster for the playoffs is already set. So we're just talking about seeding. So to make this quick, like you said, Chicago's 11-4. The Packers are 9-5-1. So if the Packers won and every game, they would be 11-5-1 and ahead of a team that was 11-6, right, by a half a game. Right. So they're still mathematically alive. The Packers should be playing to win this game so that they have a shot then in week 18 to change their seeding, because nobody wants to sit there in the lower 6 or 7 seed if they can move up and have a chance to, if they advance, to maybe host a playoff game down the road. If they get out of the 7 seed, then technically the other 7 seed, whoever turns out to be the 7 seed, could win out, and then the Packers should get a home game. Okay, so what they're also fighting for is seeding for 5th and 6th seed too, because San Fran and the Rams are both in that same 11-4 category or schedule situation that the Bears are in. So they could move up from the 7 to the 6 or from the 7 to the 5 based on the fact that if they stay as a wild card, they could still have a better record than the other 2 wild card teams.
Okay, we're not going to get bogged down with like seeding.
Okay, but the point is that you made it sound like there's absolutely nothing that the Packers are playing for, and they are absolutely playing to get the fuck out of the 7 seed, because they could move up to the 6, the 5, or the 2 from this week on. If they lose this game, then they got no shot at all. They're right into the 7th.
Okay, but I guess my point was, like, they're already in. Can they still get the division? And it sounds like, based on what you said, because of that half game, that they actually, if the Bears lost this week and next, then Green Bay would actually win the division. But
because look at the Bears are playing, the Bills and the Chiefs. I'm sorry, the 49ers and the Lions. Right. I was looking at the preseason. There's the 49ers and the Lions. So they're not, the 49ers are going to be in the same boat that they're playing for seed. So, all right. They're playing for that game, and
Okay. So did you make a pick on the game? Because you lost me out with all that talk.
I did not make a pick.
Okay. Would you like to do that?
What I was pointing out is that the Packers are playing for something here. The Ravens suck. They're on a downward trend. There's no Lamar. I like the Packers. We watched Malik Willis play for the Packers, and he looks like a different quarterback.
Yes,
he definitely looked pretty strong in that Matt LaFleur offense. So I'm looking for, I actually like Packers a lot.
All right. So those are the 2 Saturday games. Now we move on to Sunday. First game on the Sunday slate is the Seahawks at the Panthers. Seahawks right now are 7.5-point favorites. So this will be a Sam Darnold revenge game, returning to Carolina, where he played for a couple of years, right? The Seahawks have 1 game on the Rams in terms of record, and the 49ers, they both have the same record, right behind by 1 game. San Francisco has a better division record. The Rams have the same division record. So the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams technically all still have a shot at winning that division. The Panthers
And the number 1 seed
are on top of their division at 8-7. And it will come down to next week versus the Bucks for who gets whatever that division's called.
The South.
So I don't love the hook, and this is one where actually 73% of the bets and 67% of the money right now is on the Panthers. So the public is definitely on the home dog here. So that makes me feel even better about my pick with the Seahawks.
I don't like the Seahawks going on the road down to Carolina. Carolina's playing a lot better football.
They're very up and down. Like they've been win-loss, win-loss, win-loss. They won last week.
The crazy thing is that I mean,
and
Seattle,
it really comes down to next week.
Yeah, that's true. The Panthers are playing for their life. You know, they could still lose the division if they lose out. So they're going to be fighting for this one. They're 10-3 in their last 13 against the spread at home. They're 8-3 in their last 11 against the spread versus NFC opponents. So those numbers look good. The Seattle's 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games in December. So that one's trending against Seattle. I'm going to take the Panthers here. I think this is one of those games where the Seattle will win late on a field goal, 3 or 4 point win, and their Panthers are going to play it within 7.5.
All right, different sides of that one. All right, next game is the Steelers at the Browns. Steelers are 3-point favorites. This is a division game. Now, the Browns haven't lost to the Steelers at home since 2021. I've said it every week that the Browns defense is better at home. The Steelers will be without DK Metcalf this week for his fight with the fan. And if the Ravens lose on Saturday, which we are assuming they will, the Steelers really have nothing to play for because they'll have the division locked up at that point. So I'm going to take the points with the Browns on this one. And right now, 80% of the bets, 79% of the money is on the Steelers in this one.
I like the Steelers regardless.
Okay. Going with the public there, huh?
Yeah.
All right, next game, Saints at Titans. Saints are 2.5-point favorites. Both teams obviously out of playoff contention. I have nothing to say about this game. I won't bet it, period.
Really?
Yes.
I love the Saints. Saints are looking like they got a lot of heart. I love what Kellen Moore's doing down there in that team, trying to implement a winning culture. The Saints are 5-1 against the spread in their last 6, and for that reason, I will take the Saints on the road against the Titans.
What's the Titans' record in their last whatever you just said? It's probably pretty similar.
Yeah, I don't have that information.
But anyway, I take shitty teams. I'm just not touching the game. Next game is the Cardinals at the Bengals. Bengals are 7.5-point favorites. Both of these teams also eliminated from playoff contention. Now, the Cardinals have been dealing with a lot of injuries all season. Bengals defense is and has been for the past few years pretty bad. Cardinals defense not much better. Two teams with no defense could lead to points. Now, the Bengals did pull away with the big win last week over the third-string quarterback for the Dolphins. Part of me says take Burrow, but part of me says take the points. I've taken the points with the Cardinals the past few weeks. It hasn't worked out very well, but I'm going to do it one more time.
I like the Cardinals.
Okay.
I just think the Bengals are going to give up.
Yeah, well,
Sounds like they're giving up
is
on
Joe Burrow in
Burrow.
a good mood or a bad mood? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Having fun or not having fun. So,
Well, you got his act together
he had
last
fun
week.
last week, not so much the week before. I don't know.
Higgins is out.
Higgins?
Or
He played last week,
Okay.
so I don't think he would be out this week. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'll actually bet it, but... and then the next game...
It's a tough one.
This is an interesting
for
game.
anything.
So we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Jaguars are 5.5-point favorites. This is a division game. These teams played in week 14. That was when Riley Leonard started for the Colts. Jaguars won that game 36-19. Now the Jags will win the division if they win and the Texans lose on Saturday. Colts will be without their best defensive player, DeForest Buckner. I don't know about Trevor Lawrence all of a sudden. He has been playing well. He actually played well against the Broncos defense last week, which we didn't do the podcast last week, but I thought that was going to be the letdown spot for him specifically because he's played pretty well in the
Coaching
last
makes a difference.
5 or 6 games. Now, Rivers obviously started out pretty well last week, but the 49ers kind of pulled away with the victory in the end. I could see this game going very similar. Now, if the Texans win on Saturday, the Colts are done. They're out. They have a very slim chance of winning or making it into the playoffs at this point. Now, Indy is 3-17-1 against the spread versus the Jags in their last, whatever that is, 21 games. Rivers, who actually played for the Colts previously, is 0-2 against Jacksonville in his career as a Colt. I was set to take the Jags here until I looked up the money percentages, and it's 79 of the bets and 87% of the money is on Jacksonville. So maybe Philip Rivers gets to finish his career the second time around on a win.
I'm taking the Colts.
So based on the money splits, I guess I got to take the Colts too.
Everything's looking like Colts. There's a huge outpour of money on the Jaguars, like you said. I had 87% of the money on them too. But I think that this is what Philip Rivers' third game now.
Yeah, but will it be his last? Like, would they start him again in week 18?
I don't know. I don't care about his last, but what I care about is now he's had 2 games. In the last game, he looked like he was throwing the ball around. He doesn't have the same arm strength, but they were smarter to call shorter pass plays, like short cross routes, posts for like 5-10 yards. Nothing that as big. Everything else was just kind of like shot putting it up. He still has the quick delivery. You know, he still has that quick, like, pump and fire.
Yeah, he doesn't have the velocity, that's for sure.
Well, he's almost like a wise old man. He knows that he's got to get rid of that ball quick, even though because he knows he doesn't have as much juice on it.
He made some comments about, like, that he's finding it very easy to read the defenses, which I guess is kind of strange, but he's acting like the defenses are not any more sophisticated now than they were when he started out.
Yeah, maybe what they're doing is they're saying, hey, it's fucking Philip Rivers, and we're not going to put on tape any sophisticated schemes that people might study against us.
Well, and I also want, to an extent, is there any thought in, like, some of these coaches' minds that, like, we don't want to embarrass the poor guy, so are they taking it easier? Like, if you're a defensive lineman, let's say, like, you're Micah Parsons, and you're facing Philip Rivers, like, are you going to lay off because you don't want to, like, be the guy that, like...
No.
Sacks him and like fucking breaks his arm or whatever?
No, I believe every one of those guys want to be the guy who can get a susceptible quarterback, like, and increase their sack totals. What they're doing is they don't want to put, if they can basically get a bye week playing a game and not put anything on tape, put vanilla strategies on tape for the next team to look at them, especially if it's like a playoff team, like Jacksonville's going to be. They're like, these teams are just playing vanilla defenses. Like,
I agree that maybe that's what Seattle did, but San Fran, they put up how many points last week?
I'm just telling you what I think. There's definitely a thing. It's not just made up. Like, they're putting shit on tape. That's what they're studying, right? They're studying the last at least 3 or 4 games of film so that they can try to get tendencies and trends. When you see, like, defensive players or linebackers, like, calling things out, looks like they know the play. It's because they were studying the film and they see the formation and they know exactly what's coming. That's why they don't want to put something on tape if they figure, hey, we can breeze by this week with a win against a guy like Philip Rivers, who's 40 years old and has been out of the league for 5 years, and just put our standard defense out there. It's nothing special. We won't show the next guys what we're really planning on doing to when shit hits the fan, i.e. it turns playoff time.
All right. All right. So we're on the same side, I guess, of that one. I'm not 100%.
This tape, that's
Where I go
these
on that
game
game.
tapes that are going right now are definitely going to be, if you're a playoff team, are going to be studied, if not the entire season, by the opponent that you're playing against in the playoffs.
All right. Next game is the Tampa Bay Bucks at the Miami Dolphins. Bucks are 5.5-point favorites. Now the Bucks need the win this week and next week versus the Panthers to get into the playoffs. The Dolphins will start third-string quarterback Quinn Evers again this week. Bucks have lost their last 3 games and haven't covered in 7. Tristan Wirtz on their offensive line will also be out for this game. They got Mike Evans back. They got Bucky Irving back a couple games ago. I think they got to get something figured out eventually, and this is a good spot for them to do it against the Dolphins. I'm taking the Bucks at 5.5.
2 words. Quinn Ewers. I'm taking the Bucks.
Well, I mean, we can say that, but we just saw 2 games yesterday with Max Brosmer, and I don't even know how you say that guy from the Chiefs. And then Josh Johnson. I mean,
it is the NFL, right?
And they all
And
covered.
these guys are all professionals.
All 3.
I just
all
think in
3
this
dogs on Christmas. All 3 dogs on Thanksgiving.
The Bucks are like, because I'm just looking at the way the season is going, right? At the beginning of the year, the first 4 or 5 games, the Bucks were rolling, man. They were beating teams good. They lost like 1 game in 6 or 7, right? And then they've struggled. They're
Well,
looking
they lost
to put
Evans
an
for
ass
a while.
whooping.
Baker maybe playing hurt still.
They're looking to put an ass whipping.
I think they should have. They should have kept Baker Mayfield out and started Teddy Bridgewater a couple of weeks ago because it didn't make a difference. And then at least maybe Baker would be healthy. But
probably, how many games have they lost in a row?
3. So
Is Jacob singing down there?
I have no idea. All right. But anyway, so you're taking the Bucks then?
I'm taking the Bucks.
All right. Next game is the Patriots at the Jets. Patriots are 13.5-point favorites. This is a division game. Patriots have owned the Jets for a long time. They did win back in week 11, 27-14. Now, the Patriots will secure the division with a win and a Bills loss. Patriots did suffer quite a few injuries last week. They will be without Mac Hollins, Keyshawn Boutte, defensive tackle Milton Williams, defensive tackle, his last name's Tonga, linebacker Harold Landry, and Spillane. Travion Henderson is questionable.
Does Tonga have a first name?
I wrote down first names if they had a very common last name. So Milton Williams, then I only wrote the last name for Tonga. And then I know Harold Landry from the Titans. I didn't write down his first name. I just know it, and I don't know Spillane's first name. I'm taking the Patriots anyway.
Yeah, I like the Patriots too. I don't know how you can take the Jets. This is just a BS game. The Patriots are going to roll into New York. It'll probably be much like a home
Now,
game.
the only thing to mention, 79% of the bets, 77% of the money also on the Patriots. But
it doesn't clear my 80% threshold, so I'm going to stick with the Jets.
Okay.
I mean the Patriots.
All right. Next game is the Giants at the Raiders. Giants are 1.5-point favorites. The only thing these teams are playing for is the first pick of the draft. The Raiders will be without Brock Bowers. Giants only threw the ball 13 times last week, which makes me wonder what they're trying to do. And they will be without their best offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas. I won't touch this game.
The Giants have a history of winning games at the end of the season when they're out and they're just screwing themselves on the pick. I'm going to take the Giants.
They only threw the ball 13 times last week. In a totally winnable game because
think Peyton Carroll's trying to win games?
McCarthy got out and Max Brosmer had to come in.
The fact that Brady's involved with the Raiders, it's just I don't put anything past that guy. He's smart enough. I guess I'll just say he's smart enough.
Is he? Because I don't know if I would have bought into the Raiders.
I think that he's smart enough to come up to talk about the strategy that, hey, we just need to tank.
And I guess maybe he couldn't get Ben Johnson or whatever, but Pete Carroll, really? Chip Kelly?
Where would you rather go?
Who?
If you were Ben Johnson.
I wouldn't have wanted either team, honestly.
You're not looking at it.
But he definitely wanted to stay in the division.
He definitely wanted to play for
I think that's what I think the downside of some of these people are. Like they get a reputation as good as an offensive coordinator. And then when they have an opportunity to get a head coach job, they just take it because they want the title, but they don't think it through. Now, Ben Johnson is the exception because he's fared well. But a lot of these guys, it just doesn't work out.
What do you think is one of the major drivers in Ben Johnson choosing to go to Chicago?
He said it in his press conference.
What was it?
He wanted to stay in the division.
Okay.
So he could beat up on the freaking Lions and the Packers. And like when they played a couple weeks ago and the Packers won, like you can watch the tape of the handshake.
Okay. You don't think okay, so let's beyond that. What is something that has to do with Chicago? What does Chicago have that an offensive minded guy wanting to be a head coach would salivate to join the Bears?
Well, the only thing that I can in that question in general, and it's not what do the Bears have, it's just in general, what would I want if I'm an offensive coordinator taking a head coaching job is a quarterback.
Goddamn right, Jaclyn. He's the number one pick of the
Williams,
fucking draft.
I don't think is that guy.
Caleb Williams was the number one pick of the draft.
That
so
doesn't
forget about what
mean
you
he's
think.
good.
It doesn't. You're 100%
And
right.
I don't think he's shown anything. I think Ben Johnson probably spends more time. Of course, he's used to doing it because he had Jared Goff, but like scheming around his quarterback's deficiencies.
Okay, so forget about.
I would have waited for like what's the guy's name in Cincinnati? I would have waited for him to get fired, and I'll take Joe. No, the coach.
But he wasn't.
I'll take Joe Burrow.
He had already held off becoming a head coach the year prior. There was no waiting. There was no, I'm going to shun the NFL and wait around at Detroit. Okay, so you agree with that, right? So he had to make a move when he had to make a move. There was no waiting another year for Cincinnati to come about. Let me tell you, besides what you say, I'll tell you what he was thinking, okay? Besides your expert opinion on the quarterback ability of one Caleb Williams, NFL people think like Caleb Williams, the Bears didn't go out on a limb and say, we're just going to take Caleb Williams. Like he was universal number one pick pretty much, right? By everybody in the NFL. So this guy was only 2 years out, number one pick of the overall in the NFL draft. That dude went to the Bears mainly because he had the number one pick of the draft from the year prior who's going to be able to execute his offense. No doubt in my mind. So anyway, we've gone too long on that.
Okay. Well, we can.
But if you're if you're a coach, right, the number one thing is you're going to want to go where there's a good quarterback situation. Like, let's take Andy Reid, right? Andy Reid went to the Eagles. One of the reasons why, because he knew they had the number 2 pick of the draft. You could get whoever he wanted.
But why did he go to the Kansas City Chiefs?
Why did he go to the Chiefs?
Yeah, because Alex Smith.
I don't know. The Chiefs was no. It was a little bit of a different situation.
Okay, good. All right, moving on. Next game. Did you have a pick on that one? Giants, Raiders?
Giants.
Okay. Next game, Eagles at Bills. Bills are 1.5 point favorites. Now, you can answer this question. The Eagles essentially have nothing to play for other than perhaps seeding. But I don't want to get bogged down on seeding this week.
They do. They're playing for seeding. They're trying to win this game.
So they are going to play all their guys, is what you're telling me. All right.
Yeah.
So
there's some key injuries, though. They're still not going to be with Lane Johnson, right?
Well, but let me ask you
Carter's
this.
coming back.
Are they not bringing Lane Johnson back because this game doesn't necessarily mean a lot?
They could be holding him back because they just want to rest him. He means that much to him, right? Jalen Carter's going to play. It looks like one of the big issues is the Kobe Dean is not going to play, and he's been a stalwart in the middle of that defense at middle linebacker.
Okay, now we do have Josh Allen hurt his foot last week. So he's technically questionable. I assume he would play, but that would leave Trubinsky as the backup. Now they have clinched a playoff spot. They still have a shot at the division, but the Patriots play the Jets this week, so I'm sure they're not like banking on a loss for the Patriots. So I'm kind of back and forth on this. Now, Josh Allen in his career is 0-2 versus the Eagles. I want to take the Bills, but what worries me, we can go all the way back to week 1. Derrick Henry taken off down the field on the second play of the game for the end zone. You can run on the Bills. This could be a huge game for Saquon Barkley should the Eagles choose to go that direction. What are your thoughts?
I like the Eagles.
Yeah, so I think I might be on the Eagles as well.
I just like.
Do you think they'll use Saquon Barkley to their advantage? Because that's how you beat the Bills.
Yeah, definitely. That's how they're going to have to win. It's a cold game. It's going to be a cold game. Conditions are not going to be great. The team who runs the ball better is going to win this game. And even though the Eagles are still a little banged up on the offensive line, they're still going to be able to run the ball with Saquon Barkley against the Bills. The Bills are going to have to sell out to stop the run. The weather may make it a little easier for them.
I don't think they can.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, the Bills have had the same problem for the last 5 years. That's why everybody's like, Josh Allen can't win the big one. Josh Allen, it's not that Josh Allen can't win the big one. It's that their defense has sucked. Their defense can't stop anybody. If their defense could ever hold anybody under 20 points, look at the Eagles defense. They hang people under 20 points, and they don't necessarily score a ton, especially this year with their offense and their running games starting to get going now, which is a good sign because there was null and nothing going on for a lot of the games in the middle part of the season, but it's starting to come back now. Once they get Lane Johnson back, they'll be fine, but all right. They're giving Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson was not fine. He was playing through injury, and that's part of the reason why the running game sucked. That's why they're giving Lane Johnson a couple more. Like, hey, let's make sure he's 100% because we need him. We need to run the ball in the playoffs. We need him to be able to run the ball. He needs to be healthy.
All right. So I guess we're on the same side of that one.
Eagles, yeah.
Next game is the Bears at the 49ers.
Is it that game?
49ers, yes, are 3-point favorites. Now, I said it before, and we talked about this earlier, but Green Bay is 2 games back, so they do technically have a shot. But the Bears kind of control their own destiny, I guess is the point there. San Francisco 1 game back of Seattle. Now, it sounds like they're going to be without George Kittle, who has really played a big part in the offense the past few weeks. But I'm going to take the points with the Bears. I mean, because if Green Bay were to lose, which I don't think we think they will, the Bears have nothing to play for. But under the circumstances, Ben Johnson his first year, I don't think they're going to take that approach in this game. It's basically Johnson versus Shanahan. So that is a very interesting coaching matchup. But I am going to take the points with the Bears.
The Bears are just like that feel-good story, right? For this season. I mean, the way they came back on the Packers, it's like to be a Bears fan, it's like they've been waiting a while. They've seemed like they've sucked for a long time.
That game, I was on the Bears, and it didn't look good to start, but it's like horrible. This season, how many fucking games where like you're in the fourth quarter and the team is down by like 10 plus points, comes back and wins.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about the Bears the most is not even Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson's offense. Their defense is playing tough. And there's not a lot of money over on that side of the ball, I don't believe, but their defense is playing pretty good. And I think that the 49ers and Purdy is going to still struggle against really good defenses. And I don't know how, I like the 49ers more than I like the Bears. Like if they play in the playoffs, no matter where the game is, I'm going to have to take the 49ers. I just think that they're a better team.
Well, their offense.
Their defense is in
what
trouble
about without
because
Kittle? Because I feel like he's been the top target
is he definitely out?
I don't know.
All right, yeah, so he was a huge target, over 100 yards last
injury
week.
Reserve, so that leads me to think that he is out, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I would think so too. So I mean, there's a couple of reasons why. Like right now, this week, I'm going to take the Bears, but if Kittle's playing, and we're in the playoffs, I would take the 49ers. But this week in the regular season, I think the Bears win to get in and kind of take out any doubt that they're going to be the number 2 seed.
All right. And then the final game of the week is the Monday night game, Rams at Falcons. Rams are 8.5-point favorites. Now the Rams still have a chance at the division. Was it last week where they played Seattle and they lost? Because that was a really big loss in terms of the division. They will be without Devontae Adams, and there was an offensive lineman that left the game last week, and I don't know his name. But that's something to look at. It's a big line for McVay, 8.5 points. Now, obviously, Atlanta has nothing to play for. So I was set to take Atlanta until I saw that 74% of the bets and 71% of the money right now is on Atlanta. So that has me worried.
Here's another weird one, right? 71%, like you said, of the money is on Atlanta at Atlanta +8. What's the percentage of money on the Rams for the money line? Take a guess.
Well, I don't have to guess because I see it.
95%.
Yeah.
That seems like a huge. I get it's 8 points a lot. It
Well,
doesn't
I think
sound
a lot of
shock,
people
but-
feel the same way that I do, is you can't trust Sean McVay as a big favorite like this. But I'm not sure you can trust the Falcons either.
Yeah, I don't think you can trust the Falcons at all.
But that would probably be my approach, is to tease it down, and because I do think the Rams will win, but will they win by 8.5? I don't know.
Rams are 11-4 against the spread in their last 15.
So, I mean, my pick would be Atlanta, but I'm not going to take Atlanta with everybody else. That's for sure.
Do you know this game opened up with the Rams only a 3-point favorite? It's going up 5 points.
Was that the open or the look ahead?
That was the open.
Okay. What is going on down there, by the way?
I don't know. It sounds like we're singing. It sounds like it's Christmas sing-along down there. And Mommy and Daddy are upstairs doing the podcast.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for week 17. We'll be back for one more week, week 18. If you're watching, subscribe. We lost 10 subscribers last week.
We did?
Or 2 weeks ago. Yes. I don't think we've ever lost subscribers before.
How do we lose subscribers?
I don't know. It was I know I had a bad week the week before, but I think you did okay. But yeah, I've never seen that before. Interesting. Interesting. But that's people these days, right?
Yeah.
Jump ship. All right. But anyway, if you're watching, and let's get back the 10 we lost. Peace out.
Let's go get some wins.
Being in a coffee, but